Hi everyone, welcome back. Welcome to Real Food Live with the Hearty Soul. I'm Lisa Manzo, registered holistic nutritionist, fitness trainer, and owner of Pure Energy Wellness Lofts in Etobicoke.
And I am Kristy LaPointe, aka Plant Based Kristy, at Plant Based Kristy on Instagram. And we are so excited for today's Real Food Live. We are going to be making no-bake bars.
Yes, my favorite.
Yeah, so today we're going to be talking all about healthy snacks and snacks you can make yourself at home.
Yep.
This one is awesome. It's only got 6 ingredients total, which, I mean, the less ingredients,
the cleaner.
The cleaner.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah.
Exactly. So they're no-bake bars. These ones here are almond cacao. So like Kristy said, we are really excited about these bars. They're no-bake, which means they're easy, they're convenient, they're portable, and you can eat them without a napkin.
Ooh,
so
I like
they are
the sound
fully
of that.
on the go.
Yeah.
Like truly on the go.
For a messy eater such as myself, that's a really good sign. So as we're making this recipe, we want to hear from you guys. Send in your questions or comments. If you have any questions about the ingredients we're using or about snacking and healthy snacking in general, we want to hear from you.
Yeah, and we're here to support you and answer any questions along the way or even after the recipes we're here. So we want to get started and show you how exciting these are. So these bars are really simple and limited ingredients, which means, like we mentioned, they're cleaner. And most of the ingredients here you probably have on hand in your pantry, which is key because if you need to make them and whip them up really quickly, you can do that and not have to run to the store with an ingredient list, right? That's really important. So we're gonna start with dates. And what we're gonna do in these dates is really process and pulse them into the blender. This is the only thing that you'll need to use the blender for. Everything else will be in the bowl. So we're gonna get started and place the dates right into the blender here.
It's going to get real loud right off the top.
Really loud.
Oh.
So I'm gonna pulse these here.
Not scary at all.
I really love dates because they're a great sweetener and additive. And in no-bake bars, it creates a really doughy kind of texture, and that's kind of what binds and molds the bars together. So it doesn't have to be perfect, just kind of pulsing them like so.
Could you also use a food processor?
Yes,
for this?
you
Yeah.
can. Absolutely. Food processor or blender is key for this recipe.
I like how sticky they are already. You can tell it's going to bind.
See?
to the
Yeah.
bars, yeah.
It's great, and I'm actually gonna pulse it a little bit more, so please go on and here we go. All right, so making this dough, this is what I call the dough. So the dough without any wheat or gluten, I love it.
So this is also a totally raw recipe, right?
It is completely raw and obviously gluten-free and dairy-free, refined sugar-free, and of course vegan because it, doesn't. We're using maple syrup.
You know, I like that.
I know it's for that's specially for you.
Thank you.
So the only challenge here is actually getting the dates out of the blender food processor because as you can see in my blender here, it's kind of stuck in the blade. So you're gonna fight it out. It's all good.
It smells so good.
Thanks.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's just dates.
It's just dates,
They're
really.
pretty great.
I know, and I'm taking credit. Thanks. The dates.
In dates, a lot of times, raw cooking uses them sort of as like a caramel replacement.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Because look at it. It looks like caramel.
Yeah.
Like
just
fudge.
Seems
Fudge,
really
yeah.
decadent. Yeah.
Really, really great. So really, this is what's sustaining also your energy. Okay, so most bars that you find at your local grocery store sitting on the shelves are actually filled with, processed ingredients and as much sugar as a chocolate bar. So if you're really turning around the bar and looking at the sugar content, you're really gonna see 8 to 9 grams of sugar, which is equivalent to a chocolate bar.
That's crazy.
And when we are really trying to get closer to a whole foods diet and limiting the amount of processed sugar and refined sugar in our diet, that's definitely not what we want. Now, why are these bars so popular? Because they're portable and they're on the go. And you can have them for breakfast, you can have them for snacks. So people usually gravitate to, your bars or your granola bars. And unfortunately, I like to call them junk food dressed up as healthy snack.
Well, yeah, I think that's part of the problem. There's lots to be said for having a well-balanced diet
Yes.
and not depriving yourself. But if you are having a granola bar 2 times a day thinking that's your healthy food
Right.
and then indulging elsewhere, that's maybe going to be counterproductive.
Definitely. And when they're so easy to make, you can make these in less than 20 minutes and you know that you're getting something healthy. And you're making these bars, whether it's for a healthier option, whether it's even to liven up your child's lunchbox. These bars are really easy. You can make them, ahead of time and you can freeze them so that you're always making sure that you're getting a healthy snack when you need it, right? Because even the best of us, our blood sugar levels will dip around that 3 o'clock time frame. Wouldn't it be amazing if you could just take out a bar out of your purse, out of the drawer of your desk? You can do that and then know that you're getting something healthy and low glycemic, and it's going to fuel you, and you're going to your energy is going to be sustained. So that's really what it's all about.
Yeah, and I mean today as we make these, we're going to be talking about healthy snacking and ways that you can continue to snack through the day. Because I think a problem a lot of people have, and I know I certainly do, is if you're really busy or you don't have time to maybe think about all of your food during the day, you just get so hangry at a certain point, and then you're miserable, and then when you do finally eat, you're just like gobbling up anything in sight.
And because you're starving,
Of course.
And what happens, it's kind of, a vicious cycle at that point, because you're gobbling up the food and you're not really mindlessly thinking about the food choices that you're making. And what happens is you feel satiated for a very short period of time. Your glycemic index is spiked, your blood sugar levels are spiked, and then you crash.
Yeah.
And then you're thinking like, oh my gosh, why I feel so sluggish? Why do I feel so tired? Why do I even feel shaky? And because the insulin has been released too quickly into your body. And so we don't want to feel like that. Our whole goal is to feel energized throughout the day. Lasting energy is key.
Okay, great.
I think I've really fought out all of the dates at this point. Okay. What do you think?
I think we're good on dates.
So as you can see, it's kind of just a nice ball of dough here. And that's all we need, right? And so the next step for this is really easy. We are basically going to combine the rest of the ingredients. So the first thing I'm going to do is put the cacao powder, organic cacao powder, right here into the bowl. Do you want to talk a little bit about cacao powder?
Sure. So, I mean, you're the nutritionist.
Yeah.
So you're going to know more things than I am.
Oh, yeah.
Certainly. But there's a big difference between cacao powder and a traditional cocoa powder, right?
Definitely. And I think people mistaken the two quite often because they look the same. So the main difference between raw cacao and cocoa powder, other than them looking the same, is raw cacao is made by cold pressing unroasted cacao beans.
So that's the most like unprocessed version?
Exactly. And that process, what happens is it keeps the living enzymes inside and basically removes the fat, which we know is cacao butter.
Right.
Which cacao butter is fantastic for replacing like butter in your desserts. It's actually really great moisturizer from a beauty perspective, really, really good.
Yeah, so good. So, chocolate on your face, get out of here.
Yeah, and it's actually white, which is funny because the cacao butter is actually white. But cocoa powder, like we said, looks the same, but it definitely does not have the same health benefits. And basically what it is they all, raw cacao and cocoa powder start at the same. It completely starts, the process starts the same, but cocoa powder is at high temperatures. Okay. So that's the difference.
Well, great. So like it's just an unprocessed version of cocoa powder.
Yeah, and cocoa powder is really sweet, and that's why, because it is burned off at high temperatures.
What a good transition. Speaking of sweet, what else do we have that's sweet?
Pure maple syrup. So I love, love, love baking with pure maple syrup here. Really great sweetener to add in, as opposed to sugar, of course. Absolutely. So that's what it's in replace of.
So when you're doing maple syrup, is there something you look for in particular? I mean, obviously you want real maple syrup.
Yeah, and Canadian. Yeah, pure Canadian maple syrup. That's what we're looking for, nothing processed. So the recipe, we will upload the blog and you'll have the ingredients there, but it's really simple. Everything is a 1/4 cup.
Okay.
Super simple. The salt is a 1/4 teaspoon.
Nice.
And then the dates is 1 cup, and our oats is 1 1/4 cup.
Okay.
So super simple in terms of the ingredients here. So
and I
salt
think,
in.
I feel like you could also sort of play around with amounts if you wanted it maybe a little more chocolatey or
Definitely.
Less dense or whatever.
Definitely.
You can kind of tailor it to what you're looking for.
Yeah, and the only thing is if you are fiddling with the amounts in that sense. You might have to gauge and add a little bit more oats to kind of bind it together so there's more binding than liquid, if that makes sense.
Okay, cool. So you're doing the almond
Almond
butter
butter, yes.
So why almond butter? Talk to me.
Well, this is another thing. You can choose whatever butter you prefer.
Okay.
This one is almond. I really, really like almond butter, not only for its great fatty health benefits, but it is what is going to keep you full. So remember, fat is good. We talk a lot about that. We've spoken about that on weeks prior, but fat is what keeps us satiated. Fat is what keeps us full. So nut butter is what is going to keep you fueled and sustained throughout your day. So I love, love, love almond butter.
And if you had like a nut allergy or something, you could probably sub in like a sunflower seed butter.
Exactly.
Okay,
That's
cool.
exactly what you could do. Sunflower seed butter is awesome too. So the next we have are oats. So these here are gluten-free and they are steel cut oats. So most people tend to look for the instant oats when they're baking. Steel cut oats are low glycemic, and that's why I really, really like them. So they will regulate blood sugar levels.
Right, so you're not gonna get the spikes.
Exactly.
Pretty
Okay,
good.
sustained energy. That is what we're looking for. So this is about a cup and a quarter here. I'm gonna throw it all in. So see how we're just mixing everything together.
And why do you mix it all by hand at this point and not instead of like blending it back up?
Because then I have to fight the blender to get it back out.
Yeah.
And then I have to usually add liquid with a blender to make it kind of move around. So here, the old school way, I just love a bowl and your hands actually. So I'm gonna get in there
Great.
with my hands.
So we are making these amazing no-bake bars, almond butter,
Cacao.
Almond butter cacao
Yes.
bars. If you guys have any questions about them, please send them over. I'm so lonely. I need to answer some questions. Or at least feel them
Please,
to someone
we
who
want
knows
to.
them. Yeah.
You know what, I want to talk a little bit more about oats
Okay.
because I feel like a lot of people, you know, they do good in terms of going to the grocery store and buying oatmeal, and then by the time I get to them in a session, in a nutrition session, I'm like, oh, you're doing such a great job, but those are the wrong oats. And I see the disappointment in their faces. So not all oats are weighed the same, okay? We really wanna make sure, like I said, we're looking for steel cut oats. So you wanna make sure that the packages that you're buying are not instant, because instant oats are high glycemic. Also, the oats, I want you to start paying attention to the ingredients. Don't worry about the nutritional facts. I want you to pay attention to the ingredients. What's in those packages? Most of them are filled with a lot of sugar, okay?
Yeah.
So it doesn't take too much time to, you know, make your steel cut oats even the night before, put them in a fridge, make a batch of it for the week, and then warm it up, you know, before you're going to work
like
or
cook it all?
yes,
at
cook
once?
it all and then
Interesting.
bring it out of the fridge, warm it up with a little bit of almond milk or coconut milk, some cinnamon, some honey or maple syrup, and there's your healthy breakfast. And it's as simple as throwing that package in some hot water, but it's healthier.
Totally.
Okay.
And do you want to speak a little to like gluten-free and oats? Because I know oats
Yes.
themselves are gluten-free.
Not all oats are gluten-free, so definitely if you have a gluten intolerance or celiac, you will want to make sure that you're looking for, it'll be labeled. So
Yeah.
I really like Bob's Red Mill, and they actually have labeled their steel cut oats as gluten-free. They also have an option that is not gluten-free.
I know you guys cannot smell this, but it smells
So
heavenly
yes.
right now. It smells like really rich, like hot chocolate or something.
And that's what it is. These are like double chocolate, almost brownies.
Yeah.
Okay, my daughter can't get enough of these. I have to really limit how much she has. Her eyes glow when they, or sparkle really, when she sees these on the counter. So you're really just gonna make this into a dough. So see how I'm forming a ball? That is the result of those beautiful dates that we blended in. So I don't wanna waste any of this ingredient, so I'm just getting my hands in there.
Fiona says yummy. And
Ooh.
Fiona, guess what? I think you're right.
We're
As
gonna
someone
taste
who
them very
has
soon.
not tasted this yet, it certainly smells
Really
very,
excited.
Very good.
So you're gonna kinda take it off your hands. Remember, baking, cooking, it's all about getting dirty, and that's the fun part.
I'm very glad you're a hands-on.
Oh,
cook,
definitely.
because I am also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have to, yeah.
So we're making no-bake bars. Do you have questions? Have you made this kind of thing before? Do they last very long in your fridge? Because they don't last very long in my fridge. Send us your questions, comments, concerns.
Yes. And that's another thing. So in terms of lasting, you can freeze these bars. You can put them in an airtight container in the freezer, and make sure you cut them prior to doing that, because then it's easy to kind of take them out, put them on the counter, they thaw out in less than 20 minutes, and you can take them to go, and you know that you have something healthy,
And
right?
it seems like a recipe you could really easily double or triple if you wanted to make like a huge batch.
That's a good question. You can. And even if you wanted your bars to be thicker, you
Okay.
could double it. I like to use a loaf pan
Okay.
for these bars. So I'll fill it and mold the loaf pan. And then if you wanted them to be thicker, like I said, just double or triple the recipe. And then they'll be nice,
Great.
thick, more brownie.
Look, the
Right?
more like a brownie, a healthy, delicious treat can be,
The better.
Dana, or Dana, I'm sorry, asks, where is the recipe available? So the recipe will be available as soon as we're done this live
Yes.
stream. There will be a link to it, I believe,
Yes.
on the Hearty Soul. You've written the recipe out.
Yes, it's there. It's going to be there shortly after we're done. So you can jump online and you can get the recipe there, and even some of my thoughts on why these bars are so great and healthy snacking, and especially if you're busy and you're on the go, which I feel most of us are.
Yeah. And it's such a simple recipe too. It's 6
Yes.
ingredients, which is awesome.
Yes. So grabbing some plastic wrap, and I like to press the plastic wrap over the dough. And so this is where the arm workout comes in, okay? Somehow I always add fitness into everything I do.
That's the fitness
Right?
trainer in
That's
you.
it. So I'm going to flatten this dough down to mold or take mold of the loaf pan. So you can get creative. You can do, if you have a loaf pan that's longer and skinnier, you can do almost like a long loaf and cut it, almost like bars of fudge or something
Yeah.
like that. I love to make these before before company comes over as well. So because they're so easy, I like to whip them up about an hour before, keep them in the fridge, and then they're easy to take out with a nice matcha green tea latte.
Would you make these into balls ever, or do you find they're better as bars?
No, you can make them into bars. You can even add protein powder, so making them,
Yeah.
a protein ball or a protein bar. Protein powder, one that I really, really like, I know I've mentioned this before, is Sun Warrior. They have a great plant-based protein. I like the natural one because it's the cleanest you can get. And adding that, 2 scoops to that in this recipe would be great.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
and now you have a complete breakfast with protein.
How's the pounding down going?
Oh yeah, it is a workout.
I'm really glad I wasn't conscripted to do that. because I don't know that I have the arm strength right now. I gotta work up to this.
See? It's a workout in the kitchen. So I like to use my fist because what happens is the dough kind of accumulates more in the center than on the sides, and you're pushing it out to take that mold.
Yvonne says, I make a lot of raw cakes. It looks good, but please tie your hair up, flicking it and putting your hands through it. Sorry, maybe next week we'll have
A
crazy
hairnet,
buns,
maybe
yeah.
a hairnet or something like
Or
that.
crazy hats.
Yes.
Maybe we can get crazy Hearty Soul hats. That could be fun.
That would be fun.
I mean,
Would
look,
that?
we've said it now in a live stream, so I think contractually we have to get hats next time. I think
Maybe
that's how
next
it
week.
works. Yeah.
Maybe next week. Yes.
Okay, so how close are we to putting these? What's the next step?
So after this, you can place this, depends. You can play, if you have a lot more time, you can place them in the fridge for about an hour to an hour and a half. But because for the sake of the show, we're gonna actually put these in the freezer. So it will speed up the process. Again, if you wanna make these really quickly and you need them right away, freezer is always the best option.
So
Just to
freezer
take
and
them out.
fridge, this is just to set them.
Just to set them and really for them to take that mold so that they're not soft when you're cutting them.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I am so excited to eat these, and now I'm just getting impatient. Please send in some questions if you have questions about raw snacks, no-bake
Yes.
bars, healthy snacking. I need something to distract me until these are ready to eat.
So these right here are whole food bars, and that's essentially what we really want to look for. So we want to make sure when it comes to sugar, even dried fruit or fruit itself, that we are limiting the amount we eat daily. So yes, healthy snacking is important to keep your blood sugar levels and you're not getting hangry like you had mentioned, But at the same time, we want to make sure that we're mindfully snacking and that we're making sure that we're not over snacking and we're not overeating on, even too much of the good could be bad. So we want to find that balance, okay, guys?
Moderation.
Yes.
Magic word. Alina sent in a question.
Hi, Alina.
How nice. And she asked, how long will these keep during the week?
Good question. I don't think they'll last in your fridge more than 3 days, to be honest. That's why I highly recommend freezing them. When you freeze them, you can kind of...
You mean you don't think they'll last because they will be eaten?
Yes,
Got it.
but if they do last, please let us know. I'd be shocked. They will last a good 5-6 days.
Yeah, and
Yep.
you could freeze them for longer than that.
Definitely.
Too, right?
As long as it's in an airtight container, so you're not getting any freezer burn, you're good. Yeah,
cool.
Thanks. Good question, Alina.
That's a really good question. Okay, so we're gonna pop these in the freezer.
Yes.
So let's chat about healthy snacking in general.
Sure. Let me just pop these in the freezer here.
Healthy snacking. This is a big one, and it's important.
It's an important one. So most people feel that snacking will contribute to weight gain. And we really talk about how that is not the case. In fact, it's the opposite. So we want to snack throughout the day, keeping our blood sugar levels balanced so there are no dips. And this actually will help you lose weight if that's what you're looking for. But really, if that isn't what you're looking for, we're really focusing on sustained energy. And I find that a lot of individuals nowadays are really complaining about feeling like they lack energy or feeling sluggish.
Yeah.
And even though, they've slept 8 hours, really it comes down to the foods and what we're eating and are they fueling us? And are we really focusing on nutrient-dense meals and snacks and not mindlessly eating? So that's super, super important, and I cannot stress enough how important it is to start focusing on what you're eating and also listening to your body. So starting to intuitively eat and know what your body is intolerant to and what it really is liking.
Yeah, what fuels it. Loretta is saying that she snacks healthy.
Good.
To work with blood sugar levels. You touched on that earlier.
Yes.
Do you want to kind of speak to that?
Yes, definitely. So throughout the day when we skip meals, we tend to feel lethargic, which is completely understandable. It's like a car. If you don't put gas into the car, it's not going to run. And our bodies are very, very similar in that sense. So food is your fuel, okay? Food is your gas. So you want to make sure that when you're looking at your meals and your snacks, you're asking yourself the question, how is this going to energize me? How is this going to fuel my day? If you have a bit of a busier day, your food should change based on the day and what you have to tackle. So really looking at that and understanding that if you're feeling bloated or you're feeling like you eat something that doesn't agree with you, we need to look back at to what you're eating and maybe that you're not tolerating some ingredients.
And it can be really unconscious too, I think. Sometimes we're
100%.
just snacking mindlessly or we eat what we can grab without really thinking about how it's affecting our bodies.
Definitely, absolutely.
Joanne asks,
Hi, Joanne.
what type of dates am I buying? I like
Oh.
how you phrase that. That's real snappy.
Yeah, well, pitted dates first off. So they have to be pitted.
Is that just so you don't have to pit them yourself?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We want to remember it's convenience. Mojo dates are really good. They're kind of more flavorful. They have more of a sugary kind of flavor content to it. So yeah, those would be great options.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
So
good question.
pitted, Majol.
Yeah.
I mean, get what you can, I assume.
As long as it's pitted, get what you can.
Don't put
Yes.
dates with pits into your blender.
Yes,
please.
no, it's not going to
Please.
work. It's not going to work. And for this recipe, obviously dried dates, but fresh dates are really great as well. Dates are great. They have a lot of magnesium and iron inside, and they're just, apart from how tasty they are, they're just a great alternative to any sugar. And like we said, it's a great binding product.
So we are making no bake bars
Yes.
as a quick snack.
Yes.
What are some other quick snacks you can kind of take with you on the go?
Good question. So like I said, any power ball or energy ball, you can add some protein to. Other snacking would be a smoothie that you could put in a mason jar, cap it, and take it to go. Again, your snacks really want to include vitamins and protein and fiber and fat, okay? Very important that we have a combination of all of these so that we're feeling satiated, so that we're feeling full and we're feeling energized.
Yeah,
okay?
otherwise you're gonna just be hungry immediately after.
Right, and when we don't snack and we don't add in those key ingredients, we typically will crave junk food, And that's what we're trying to stay away from, definitely.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Are there any like non-sweet snacks? Because I know sometimes I crave savory foods, and then if I'm really hungry and I haven't eaten, that's when I'm craving like chips and that sort of a crunch.
And so remember, anything that our bodies crave, we're typically intolerant to. So there's always a reason behind anything. So if we're craving specifically salt or specifically sugar, we really have to start addressing our adrenal glands and thinking about maybe our adrenal glands need some nourishment. And usually when our adrenal glands are fatigued, we are craving salt or sugar or both. So
this is great. I'm getting like a free nutrition
yes,
consultation.
yes. So in terms of savory, and I tend to be more savory than sweet as well. A snack that I love is hummus with some brown rice crackers or hummus with some vegetables. That's a great thing. Pumpkin seed pesto. Maybe that's another one we'll make on the segment.
Pumpkin, yes.
Maybe. And
please,
yes, in a half a cup of pumpkin seeds, it's equivalent to a chicken breast in protein. So remember, you can get your proteins in so many different shapes and forms and all of that kind of great stuff, okay?
Okay.
Yes.
I know we're on internet TV time,
Yes,
but let's
I'm gonna
get
take
those
them out.
bars.
She's excited.
I've never been more excited in my entire life. That's not an exaggeration, that's not hyperbole.
So I'm gonna take these out. See how they kind of created and took the form of my pan here. So take these off. So here, and again, the longer you have them in the fridge or freezer if you're running, on a specific time, the quicker they'll take that form or the shape of the pan that you're using. So I like to cut these in 8 bars, but you could also cut them smaller and do 16. So I like
snack size.
Yes.
Yvonne says the recipe I use for, I assume, raw food stuff says to soak nuts, but why would you do that when you eat them too, like unsoaked?
Okay, so by soaking nuts, it actually helps us digest them better because the skin of the nuts is hard to digest, and that's why they say soaking. And that's why almond milk, when you're making it, is actually a lot better when you soak the nuts overnight because it breaks down easily. So that's just from a digestive standpoint to be able to digest the skin of the almond. So we're not going to sit there and peel the almonds.
Single almond,
yes.
yeah.
However, the best nut milk you can make is actually soaking the nuts and then the next day popping the skin off each one of them.
Maybe that's a task you can put your children
yes.
on, or
your
friends who are bored.
It's the smoothest and tastiest, I have to tell you, but it is time consuming.
Sounds delicious, but yeah.
But it's a great question, Yvonne, and it's really from a digestive standpoint.
Joanne also said, I'm going to say this on camera, you look fabulous, by the way.
Thanks,
which is
Joanne.
Very kind,
That's
Joanne.
so nice.
Feel free to just keep sending compliments.
We like
questions,
them. That's very nice. Thank you for the love.
It's
and
very
you're
nice.
beautiful too.
All right, look at these bars.
So, here are the bars.
This is happening.
So I'm just gonna hold this up to the camera here. Get a nice kind of look at those here. Yeah, so like I said, if you double or triple, the square will be thicker and it'll be more like a brownie.
Oh my God.
Did you just cut that in half?
Well, yeah.
Why?
I mean, I'm gonna eat it all, but I just wanna,
Oh my gosh, I'm eating the whole thing.
All right, great. Okay, so we are.
Cheers.
Oh, cheers! This is the best cheers ever. Look, my teeth are gonna be all brown.
That's okay.
Oh, so good.
So, great taste, great flavor. Keep you full. Remember? So decadent.
It's also the oats, because they're not soft oats, they add a little bit of a
Crunch.
Yeah, which is really nice. It almost feels like there's nuts in it.
Definitely.
Without nuts, just the nut butter.
Just the nut butter. Yep.
Oh my gosh. This has been so great. Thank you guys so much. I was so excited to come on today and chat and make these amazing little bars. So if you have any questions about this recipe, leave them on this live stream. Our team is going to be answering your questions.
Definitely.
The recipe will be posted. So keep talking to us. We want to chat with you. If you have questions about snacking and healthy snacks, that's great too. Make sure that you're watching Real Talk Tuesdays Real Talk on Tuesdays at 7 p.m. That's another really great place to get nutritional information. And make sure you're following the Hearty Soul on Facebook if you're not already. Of course you are.
Like us, share us.
Yeah.
We are here to support you. And so please, 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 if you're catching this offline after this live stream, we are here to answer any of your questions. Place them on our Facebook page and we're here to support.
I'm Plant Based Kristy.
I'm Lisa Manzo.
See you next time.
Bye.
Now we're gonna eat these very casually.